Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our C notes over slope and y-intercept from an equation in verbal expressions. The learning targets of today's video is I can identify the slope and y-intercept of a verbal expression, and I can write the equation of a line represented in a verbal expression. Slope that we have been studying the last few days represents steepness. Or the slant of a line. It also represents the direction, depending on if it's positive or negative. And it is a ratio of rise over run. Okay, so those are just some general things about slope. And the types of slope, there are actually 4 different types of slope. I'm going to draw some x and y coordinates here. Okay, and we have slope that can go in this direction, or we have slope that can go in this direction, horizontal line, or the graph of a vertical line. Pretend like that's vertical, please. Thank you. Okay, so the first line here, when a graph goes in a upward direction from left to right, just like reading a book, we say that this has a positive slope. When a graph goes in a negative downhill, okay, then I'm thinking of, that's a negative slope. When I'm thinking of slope, I think of mountains. Mountains have slope, right? Going back up to slope, m is the variable that we use for slope, and you can think of mountain, because if I told you I was going to the slopes at Christmas time, I would be going to the mountains. Well, this first one would be uphill. If you're thinking of a mountain, this would be downhill. You can technically ski on a horizontal line like this. Okay, it would be like cross-country skiing. It does have slope. The slope on this one would be 0. 0 is a slope. But on this line here, that's a vertical line, your body would be undefined at the bottom. That would be like a cliff. You do not ski off of cliffs. And the slope on this one is undefined. So in these last 2 special cases, just remember that can be skied on. This is a cliff. Your body would be undefined at the bottom. Okay, going on to the next slide. Finding slope when given a verbal expression, what we're going to do is look for a unit rate. Unit rate is slope. You're looking for things like miles for every hour, dollars for every day, etc. Okay? Finding the y-intercept is you're looking for any number that is not part of a unit rate. Okay? Like, for example, a flat fee or a one-time fee. Okay, something you only have to pay once, like a deposit, etc. Okay, and then in writing an equation of a line from a verbal expression, we're always going to use this format right here. Y equals mx plus b. B is the y-intercept. I like to begin, you can think of begin on the y-axis to get our b value, and then identify the slope, and remember that mountains have slope, and the slope, okay, m stands for slope, and mountains have slope. Then we will write the equation in this format. Your equation will always have the y equals something x, and then plus or minus, depending on if your y-axis is above or below the x-intercept, or the x-axis. Moving on to the next slide for a couple examples. Okay, so we have Amy has $950 in her banking account and withdraws $35 each week. So let's translate this here. We've got this. She has this already in her banking account. That is just the beginning amount. That would represent the y-intercept, and that would be a positive because she already has that in her account. Then she withdraws $35 each week. That is a unit rate, or the slope. Withdrawing is taking away, and she's taking away $35 each week. Okay, so what is our equation going to be? Remember, and anytime you're dealing with this, put slope as M, write down that your y-intercept is B, and then I'm going to write my equation. Remember, I said we always have y equals something x, and then plus or minus B. Our M goes here, our B goes here. So I'm going to have my equation as y equals negative 35x plus 950. This was her starting balance, and then she took away $35 per week. That right there, depending on how many weeks she keeps withdrawing, that's going to tell her her total balance, which would be y in this case. Okay, so let's do the next example. If you would like to pause it and try this on your own, that would be wonderful. Okay, so tangerines cost 75 cents per pound. Oh, there's my per pound. That right there is going to be my unit rate. And there is a 50-cent coupon off the total cost. So the question is, what is our total cost going to be? And then our per pound, pounds will be X, because it depends on, your total cost depends on how many pounds of these tangerines you're going to buy. So let's translate this real quick. The cost is 75 cents per pound, so I'm going to put 0.75 because that's my unit rate, that's my M. And then my y-intercept is B, and that's taking off 50 cents. Okay, so here's my equation. Y equals something X, and then it's going to be plus or minus. So my M is 75 cents, 0.75. In my B, since I was taking off 50 cents, I'm going to take off 50 cents off that total cost there. So there's my final equation. Those are your notes for finding slope and y-intercept from verbal expressions. Have a great day.